Yeah, I've got beads damaged on them, but I've never bent one. I've never had one come apart. Why not spend the extra $50 on that wheel? It's going to save me money in the long run.
Is it? I'll argue that all day long because that wheel's going to bend just as like any other one you hit the wall hard enough.
No, exactly. You know, it's just some of the things I've heard, some of the things I've seen.
From a well-known driver, their answer. Racers are the reason cost is going up. If you want to win and you have the funds, then you will spend the money to get there. Technology costs money, but it creates speed. With some classes, the competition is so close that 1/100th of a second a lap is huge, and a $3,000 shock package will take you from zero to hero in a hurry. When a class starts out, it needs tighter rules to keep cost out, but that is hard to do. Now it's gotten to the point you buy speed instead of build it. It's a combo of everything, really. This is where it got interesting, too. The Super Sport is a cheaper class because you don't have to have a new car. Can't spend $3,000 on shocks. Tires aren't a huge advantage, and everyone has to work at making the car fast. There is no setup books for boards and wedge noses. Big motor doesn't help. You just got to figure it out old school style. I love that class.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
but there, right there, he says the biggest reason racing's so expensive is the racers themselves. They're going to spend the money. What we said earlier.
Yeah.
We've been on the air for an hour already.
You know, I think it's time for a break.
It absolutely is. You're getting a little hot and sweaty over here. Dude, you're going to have a heart attack.
I'm getting pissed.
I can't believe I've never seen you like this on the air. We're going to be right back to the Jetstream Aqua Massage Studio here in Northwest Dirt News.
Do you wake up in the morning in a slump? Looking for a new career or change of pace? Well, let Northwest Trucking Academy be your source. Dave Stahl and his team of highly experienced instructors will give you the skills you need. Whether you have no idea what the brake pedal is or you just need a refresher course, Northwest Trucking Academy will give you a customized training program to meet your needs. In as little as 4 weeks, you can be on your way across the country with your new career. Located on Highway 99 in Tangent, Oregon, Northwest Trucking Academy will get you ready for a new, fast-paced, and highly rewarding career. Give them a call at 541-248-3461 or look them up online at nwtruckingacademy.com. Classes start the first Monday of every month, and don't forget to use promo code MOXIE. That's MOXIE, and receive $100 off your tuition.
Jetstream Aqua Massage, located in the Heritage Mall, is your answer for the relaxation you've been looking for. Our massage beds will help you with stress, anxiety, increase circulation, muscle tension, improve sleep, pain reduction, decrease muscle spasms, increase your range of motion, and help with the everyday aches and pains of life. And at only $1 per minute, we'll save you time and money. 20 minutes in one of our machines is equal to 1 hour of traditional massage. We have gift certificates available for the perfect stocking stuffers. All TENS units are on sale now, and don't forget your BioFreeze. Jetstream Aqua Massage. It's not just a massage, it's an experience.
Crocker's Cars is located on Santiam Highway across the street from Walmart in Lebanon, Oregon. We've been providing the finest pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and RVs since 1983. Crocker's Cars has been in business for 31 years, offering quality used vehicles that meet your needs. With our experience and professionalism and no-hassle buying, customers really do come first here at Crocker's Cars. Crocker's Cars, where quality is the difference. Look us up on the web at crockerscars.com for a full line of inventory, or give us a call at 541-258-2175. 541-258-2175. Race fans, are you ready for the biggest, baddest, fastest street stock tour this side of the Mississippi River? The Road to the Iron Giant is coming to a racetrack near you.
8 different tracks that will test the best talent in the West on both dirt and asphalt. Don't miss the kickoff to the 2017 series on April 29th at the Bobby Morley Memorial at Sunset Speedway.
On May 20th, we prepare for the war at the southern border at Southern Oregon Speedway in White City.
Hold on to your lug nuts, race fans. June 3rd, the Street Stocks take on the Sportsman Division of Madras Speedway.
If that wasn't exciting enough, they're going to do it all again on June 10th in round number 2, the Street Stocks versus Sportsman at River City Speedway in St. Helens.
June 24th, we head to Cottage Grove Speedway to honor the memory of racing legend Mark Howard at the 11th Annual Mark Howard Memorial Wallbanger Cup in a 52-lap, $1,026 to win feature event.
July 29th, things get hot and heavy when the dirt cars invade the asphalt at Douglas County Speedway.
August 26th, a tidal wave of action hits Coos Bay Speedway as the best of the best battle at the beach.
September 3rd wraps up the action as the series championship gets settled at the second annual Iron Giant Championship night at Willamette Speedway in Lebanon. One driver walks away with the Iron Giant trophy and the title of Iron Man.
We'll sell you the whole seat,
But you'll only need the edge. Now, back to the Jetstream Aqua Massage Studio for more Northwest Dirt News live on Spreaker Radio. And welcome back to the Jetstream Aqua Massage Studio. Whew. Talking the cost of racing tonight. And
I just have to say,
I've never seen you this fired up.
I am so glad that somebody had some nitro outside and there's an AED sitting down here in the food court.
Man.
I was jacked up.
I haven't seen you like this before on the show. This is kind of weird.
Well, it's what happens when you get me worked up over something.
You know, this is one subject I didn't think would get you fired up. I just don't understand it.
Really?
I mean, seriously, I didn't think you were going to get all...
And that's what a lot of people don't realize is that when I was working on Matthew's race car with Matthew Drager's 21A modified, we were a very budget-conscious team. We had to make we had to take and split pennies left and right.
But competitive.
Exactly. It's like you find those teams that show up that have all this inventory, and we're sitting here going, okay, we work out of an open trailer most of the time or a borrowed trailer. What do we got to do? Well, I mean, we got $100 this week. What can we afford to fix, and what can we afford to buy to make us faster?
Right. Well,
and we somehow did it.
We're going to start the 7 o'clock hour here in just a few minutes with our call in, and we're going to spend a lot of time with these guys on the phone. It's going to be interesting because I know it opened my eyes in a different direction of things that I didn't think about. One of them being the shock packages we're going to talk about. A valid point that you're going to hear that I thought, well, you're right, given what...
Yeah, when we talked about this...
I think it even caught you. When you sat down and thought about it, there's our caller right there.
It did make me think for a little bit.
All right, listeners, our first caller tonight on Northwest Dirt News is John and Justin Duty. Gentlemen, how are you?
We're good. How are you?
Doing well. We've we're sitting here talking the cost of racing, and I know we had a conversation earlier today, and I don't know if you guys are listening to the show there when you're working on the cars or hanging out there at the house, whatever you guys are doing tonight, but I mentioned that after our conversation, my eyes were opened at a couple things that I thought, well, that's just ridiculously high. The points you guys made kind of backed up and said, well, wait a second. Maybe I better rethink that whole deal. And the biggest thing I think we talked about was the shocks.
I mean, let's just be honest, Corey. They caught you with your pants around your ankles when it came to this topic.
Well, okay, so like everybody else, can you hear us fine, John and Justin?
Not real good.
Okay.
Better now, but...
Okay. So one of the things,
That's good.
Everybody else, I'm looking at the cost of racing, and I'm thinking, man, the cost of these shocks are just absolutely ridiculous anymore. You guy's got to have $4,000 or $5,000 worth of shocks on his car to be competitive. Now, in our conversation earlier, John says to me, he says, Corey, think about when you were setting the car up for David Hawks. I said, okay. He says, how many shocks did you have in your trailer? I said, about 30. He goes, how many shocks do you guys have in their trailers now? Do you remember that part of the conversation, John?
Well, and I mean, I think that's where a little bit kind of confusing. Yes, the shocks these days are expensive, but you don't need 30 shocks to outfit a car. because we're all running double adjustables and this and that. I agree the initial investment is a lot more expensive. But back in the day when you were helping Mr. Hawks out, you had 30 shocks. We did the math today. I'm sitting on the phone. You were going to spend the same amount of money, the quality, Bilstein, whatever it was in the time of what you're going to spend for a set of shocks on a late model today. So, and like we talked about earlier, I agree racing is expensive, but it was 20 years ago.
Right.
And, there are things that have gone up. But like we were talking, the fuel, I agree, the fuel in our region is through the roof. But fortunately, we have had the ability and the luxury of being able to travel and with our equipment in the Midwest. And fuel prices in the Midwest are not like they are.
Right. Hold it right there 1 second. Can I ask you to do me a favor? What are you listening?
Sure.
Are you listening to the show on your computer?
We're not now. We had it on. Sorry.
Okay, I was going to have you just turn it down a little bit because it's getting a little feedback and it's breaking up on your end.
Is that better?
Much better. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now going.
But yeah, like we were talking earlier, for a good package of shocks on our cars today, yeah, you're going to spend, depending if you buy new or used, anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000. But back in the day when you were racing, you had 30 shocks sitting in the trailer, the same amount of money.
Right.
So the individual shock, yes, is more expensive. But when you buy one individual shock, whether you buy it new or used or whatever the case may be, you're in turn getting about 5 or 6 shocks out of that shock.
Right.
And so, the shock prices, you can argue the fact that, yes, they are more expensive. But, and that goes back to you guys were talking earlier on the show about rules. Ask some of your modified guys how many shocks they got in their trailers because of a rule.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be
quite
like
a few.
30 or 40 shocks.
Yeah.
You're spending a lot of money because of a rule. And one of the other comments was fuel. And, unfortunately, we live in an area that to get fuel out here, it costs quite a bit of money. A lot of it's supply and demand. And, fuel that we run in our cars has, in the last probably 7 or 8 years gone up 60%. But fortunately, our cars, we cut a deal with a guy, just what he's selling everybody else fuel for in the Midwest. It's what I was paying for fuel 10 years ago. So I think a lot of that has to do with where we live, getting fuel here, plus our government, the taxes, and all the other things that get applied to the different fuel costs. So we are paying more fuel, but
so when you're in the Midwest,
some of the things.
When you're in the Midwest and you buy a barrel of fuel out there compared to what you're paying for it here in our region, what's the cost difference, John?
About $300 a barrel.
Oh my Lanta!
That's a lot of money.
Now, are we talking?
That's a lot of money.
Are we talking like 116 octane?
So.
You
there?
Yeah, go ahead, John. Can you hear us?
No, so yeah, that and that kind of opened our eyes just from our last trip when we went to the Midwest. We needed fuel, and so we talked to some of the people back there that were buying fuel and got some pricing on fuel. So it wasn't like we were becoming a distributor or something like that. It was just buying fuel like everybody else was buying fuel, and I was like, holy cow. So yeah, compared to what I buy fuel for here for the same brand, it's about a $300 a barrel difference. So
that's huge.
So I think there's little bits and pieces of where we live that cause some of our increase in pricing. And granted, most people aren't buying this fuel, but even I think across the board, whether it's methanol, E85, race gas. Locally, we're paying more money for fuel just because of where we're at.